There's just guys that just have preposterous power, and Canelo is a guy that has power but is constantly working on it. There's a great clip of him working with Andy Ruiz. You know that shield, that weird hand shield that they hold up for hooks?
Yeah.
And he's like, this is not for speed. This is just power. Just power. He's like, don't try to be fast with this. Just power. And you see him just, hey, boom. Bro, he hits so hard. Clean.
I think I was there.
You might have been there.
Yeah, man. We had some good ass fights this year. And now, Crawford's about to fight.
Yes, he's gonna fight Canelo.
Oh man.
I just hope he's big enough. I hope he's big enough to keep that dude off him, because Canelo hits so hard, man.
After watching the press conference, Joe Rogan admitted he's worried for Terrence Crawford. The UFC commentator was struck by how confident and serious Canelo Alvarez looked. Even though Crawford spoke with confidence, Rogan felt Canelo's energy was intense and intimidating enough to make him think Crawford might be in over his head.
Canelo Alvarez body shots. Like, maybe there's a video we could look. He's got a beautiful one where he steps in and just rips that left hook to the liver, and just your body just goes deep. It shuts down. It's the weirdest feeling, man. It's like your legs stop working, everything stops working. Your whole body just seizes up.
I always thought Crawford had a shot, but that press conference changed everything. Rogan said, Canelo looked locked in like never before. He's taking this fight more seriously than any other in his career. Rogan even called Crawford the underdog and warned the fight could go badly for him. Only a miracle saves him, he added. While Rogan knew the fight couldn't be canceled, he admitted, if it were up to me, I'd stop it. Canelo's energy drained every bit of hope I had.
Fight would be gigantic.
I'm trying to make all-time history.
Right. That's the one that gets you going. I can see it in your eyes.
Yeah. I hear him now. You too little. Canelo gonna break you.
Yeah.
I love the challenges. Let me prove him wrong once again.
Both Canelo Alvarez and Terrence Crawford are all-time greats. With success across for weight divisions, Crawford enters the fight with a perfect 41-0 record, having dominated every opponent he's faced. Though he's had his critics, Canelo is still considered one of the top pound-for-pound fighters and remains boxing's biggest global star.
For sure, them belts coming with me. They coming home with me. I'm telling you right now.
You can see it, but it's gonna be difficult. You take it to your
I'm
home.
taking them. It ain't nothing you gonna be able to do about it come fight
And
night.
I know Turkey is in your corner,
I promise you.
but look, it's gonna be very difficult. He's gonna be so mad that day. Believe me.
In a fight between champions from different weight classes, one fighter almost always has to give up a size advantage, and that can be the difference in a close contest. That's the case here too. Even when the bout was first announced, Joe Rogan expressed concern about Crawford moving up to weight divisions to face Canelo.
I see you. I see you. You see I'm different.
I see you too.
You see I'm different than all the other ones.
No, I see you. No, you don't know different. You're nothing different.
I'm different.
Nothing different.
I'm different.
We'll see.
You gonna see.
We'll
you know
see.
it.
We'll see.
We gonna see.
Crawford, who first made his mark at lightweight, will now jump from junior middleweight 154 pounds to super middleweight 168 pounds for this massive showdown. That's a big leap, especially when his opponent is a skilled and powerful fighter who's fought as high as light heavyweight. On a recent episode of the Joe Rogan Experience with comedian Brian Simpson, Rogan shared his concern. I just hope Crawford's big enough. Canelo hit so hard, man, he's got to be able to keep him off.
Elite of the elite boxers, to a man, to every one of them, they're disciplined. And they stay focused. I'm so excited to see this fight with Canelo Alvarez, because I think the Saudi Arabians have so much money. They're throwing so much money at boxing, and the guy who's the head of boxing over there wants to make that fight happen. I think Terrence Crawford, forget about the 3 weight classes. I think he could beat Canelo.
I think he can.
Despite the risks, Crawford doesn't seem fazed by moving up in weight. He's been chasing this super fight with Canelo for a while and chose to skip a tune-up bout. That means he'll have been out of the ring for over a year by fight night. But the extra time off could help him adjust to the new weight class for what might be the toughest fight of his career.
It's you and Canelo. What would it look like?
Come on, man. Yeah, I know what I do. I ain't got to talk about it on the streets. I'm gonna be against anybody. I ain't never gonna say another man gonna whoop me. So, you know what I mean? That's your answer right there.
I guess in Guadalajara, you think it'd be a little different on the streets if Terrence came to town?
I think every city, every place is different. No, it's different. But we're not talking about the streets. We're talking about boxing, the beautiful sport of boxing. So that's different, way different than the streets.
Fans of Joe Rogan were surprised to see him switch sides so quickly. At first, he seemed to back Terence Crawford, but after the press conference, Rogan appeared to lean more toward Canelo Alvarez. Many fans believe Canelo's size at super middleweight will give him a major edge, especially since Crawford has spent most of his career at 147 pounds and only recently moved up to 154. Still, Rogan didn't think the size difference would be a huge factor.
One dude that like I believe all the he be talking.
Crawford?
Yeah.
Oh, he's good.
He don't just be saying that.
They tried to say that like Errol Spence was damaged because of what Crawford did to him because he was damaged from the car accident. I'm like, maybe. Or maybe Crawford would have done that 3 years ago. I think he's that good. He's just so skillful.
Rogan doesn't believe Crawford is as small as people assume. In a recent podcast episode with Antonio Brown, JRE number 2186, Rogan pointed out that the 37-year-old has time to bulk up. You know why I'm excited. Terence Crawford versus Canelo, that's the one, Rogan said. He admitted he's pumped for the fight, but also addressed the concern most fans have. The size gap between the two fighters.
Thick. And when he gets, and he's also the best guy in the sport at switch hitting. He'll go from southpaw to orthodox and be just as good and trip you up. Like you think he's going to start southpaw, he starts orthodox. You prepare for orthodox, he's fighting southpaw. He feels like he's got you timed better orthodox, he'll switch it up.
A lot of people think Terence is too small, Rogan said, but he weighed 185 pounds the other day. He just won the 150 for title, and before that he was at 147. He's got time to put on weight. Despite Rogan's optimism, many fans still doubt Crawford can handle Canelo's power and size, especially without a rehydration clause. To even the playing field, Crawford, though, remains one of the most skilled boxers in the world. With a 41-0 record and 31 KOs, his last fight was a unanimous decision win over Israel Madrimov.
Oh, like, just knows so much about boxing, about where to be and what's coming, and
he's a strategist that's also entertaining.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He's an artist.
Like remember like a young B-Hop?
Yes.
It was like just so sharp and made it look almost entertaining. You know what I mean?
Roy Jones in his prime. It was art. You were watching art. He's piecing up people.
Fight season is heating up with one of the biggest bouts of the year. The Baker Al-Shidi Theater in Riyadh hosted the first press conference for Canelo Alvarez. Vs. Terence Crawford. Canelo will defend his undisputed super middleweight crown on September 13th in Las Vegas. Also at stake, the Ring Magazine title, valued at a record $188,000. The fight will stream live on Netflix. The press event had all the flair expected from a major Middle East promotion. Canelo's resume speaks for itself, and Saudi sports official Turki Al-Sheikh believes this will be one of the best fights in a decade. Both fighters also shared a formal dinner with the Saudi minister ahead of the face-off.
Going up and becoming undisputed against Canelo. Oh man, I'm flying in the sunset, man. Thank you, boxing god.
That would be it.
That would be it.
Yeah.
That's the only thing yet for me. I didn't accomplish everything there is to accomplish in the sport of boxing.
Canelo says he has something to prove after his last fight against William Scullabout. That set a record for the fewest punches thrown. That wasn't a real fight. I came to fight, but you need both guys to want it, he said, fired up. For a real challenge, Canelo added, Crawford's a great fighter, but he's not Canelo. I've got experience, power, and more. This could be one of the best fights of my career. Even though Crawford was once the undisputed welterweight champ and later won a belt at 154, he's not the favorite mainly because he's jumping to weight classes.
I'm saying at once.
Right.
I'm saying I started at 135. Right? I'm just saying, like, say if Canelo was the champion at 147 to go up 168.
Right in one jump.
Yeah, in one jump.
It's a big jump too. 21 pounds. It's a lot of weight.
It's a lot.
I'm going to win. Simple as that. Crawford declared, no one tells me how to fight. I've done this my whole life, and I'm not going to run. His slick, elusive style could give Canelo trouble, but Alvarez doesn't seem concerned. Both men see this as a legacy-defining battle, I asked for Canelo because he's great. Crawford said, he's fought Mayweather, GGG, this is my mega fight, standing beside his belts. Alvarez replied, he's not beating me. I believe this fight will go down in history. I just hope he doesn't run. Fans deserve a war, and I know I can bring it.
However I gotta fight, I'm gonna win. Simple as that. I'm not gonna let somebody else force me or tell me how to fight when I've been fighting my whole life. You know, I won't be running. You know, I could tell you that. But I will be, you know, doing a lot of touching.
Get me wrong. He's a great fighter, like I say, he's no Canelo.
As the September 13th showdown nears, Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford sat down with Piers Morgan for a deep interview. Morgan asked tough questions about their backgrounds, including Canelo's experience dealing with his brother's kidnapping and Crawford surviving a shooting. Both fighters kept their responses focused on boxing. When asked if Canelo had any clear advantages, Crawford responded, Canelo's a great fighter, no doubt, but I can't say he's better than me at anything. I haven't been in the ring with him, so I can't say his jab or right hand is better. Everything I do, I believe I do it great.
So, however they rate me, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, we gotta fight, and I'm gonna win the fight. Just simple as that.
Can I ask you about if there's any rematch clause with this fight with Canelo?
No, it's not.
Is that something you push for?
No, I didn't.
And there's any weight restrictions to the fight at all?
No, it's not.
I like hearing that, Crawford said, responding to the talk of it being a competitive matchup. That tells me this will be a real fight, and I love that. I enjoy it. Canelo might be better in some areas, but fighters judge me before they step in the ring. Once they're in there, they realize it's different. I'd have talents they won't see until fight night. On the topic of reach, he added, yeah, I've got long arms, but that's not always an advantage. Canelo's good. On the inside, real slick. Reach only helps if you know how to use it short, too. I'm ready on all fronts.
Fighters would like to put on a weight restriction to this type of fight. Why didn't you want to do that?
Because I want him at his best. I don't want no excuses. I don't want no, reasons why, he didn't feel good or anything. I want him at his best.
When asked about his current weight, Crawford casually said, I don't know, maybe 155. Asked if being at 155 is a concern with the fight, said at 168. He answered, no, not at all. Fighters walk around with more weight anyway. I'll just be fighting at one of my natural weights. Meanwhile, when Canelo was asked about critics who still call him a drug cheat after past failed tests, he shrugged it off. People believe what they want. Even if I give them proof, they'll say what they want, and I don't care.
Of experts, I think Canelo's not the same fighter. His punch output's a lot less. What do you think, considering the last 12 months or so? Is he the same fighter he was maybe a few years ago?
I think he is. I just think he just wasn't up for the skull fight, and I think different fighters bring different energies out of other fighters.
A lot of people are judging you on the Madrimov fight, saying you struggled moving up in weight, you're going further up in weight, and they're saying that's going to go against you based on the Madrimov fight. How do you kind of reply?
History shows that smaller fighters often struggle against naturally bigger opponents, but not everyone thinks that'll be the case here. Former boxer and analyst Paulie Malignaggi is hyped for the matchup and sees Canelo as a masterful champion. Still, he doesn't think Crawford will be an easy opponent, even with the size difference. Speaking of fight hype, Malignaggi shared where Crawford might actually hold the edge.
Canelo Crawford, I know what you feel about Canelo, but what do you feel about that particular fight, which it sounds like it probably took 100 to 150 million, maybe each, for Turkey to get that fight.
It doesn't really, listen, it's going to be a fight that people want to watch again, because it's something that people generate and talk about. Canelo's very popular. At this point, he's if he fights my sneaker, it's going to generate 1 million pay-per-views, right?
At first, I thought Crawford was too small, Malignaggi admitted, but in the end, it's going to come down to skills, and in that area, Crawford has the edge. He called Crawford the more complete fighter, noting that the only real concern is size. He brought up a historic example, Roberto Duran, a former lightweight. beat Aaron Barkley, who had already beaten legends like Tommy Hearns. Size matters. But it's not everything, he suggested.
Was originally thinking Crawford might be too small. I think Crawford is a way more complete fighter than Canelo ever was. I think Crawford is just the only risk here is Crawford's small. If you think about it though, Duran was a former lightweight and he was able to beat Aaron Barkley eventually, right? So it's not out of the question. And this Canelo is not the prime Canelo. This Canelo is also a Canelo who's trying to steal bags while half-assing it. When Canelo has been put in tough situations in the moments where he's had to really dig down, what has he done?
As the fight draws near, more fans are starting to believe Crawford could actually pull it off. Canelo's opponents always come with big talk, but Crawford is built differently. He's smart, fast, and fearless. Could he be the one to pull off the upset? Only time will tell. For more updates, fight coverage, and behind-the-scenes boxing content, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and turn on notifications. Until next time, peace.